So, welcome to this little video overview of the OBS Assist software that I developed to help with my class timetabling. Obviously, the previous tool that people have been using is the OBS-T, I think it's called. So this tool was developed basically with two main aims. One was to save time in the procedure of timetabling, to automate a lot of things that are tedious and take a lot of time. And the second one was to allow for more strategic timetabling, to perhaps avoid situations of the same lesson, same teacher, same time occurring frequently, perhaps to have more of one kind of lesson in a particular time frame. I'll talk a little bit more about how to achieve all of this in other tutorials that you can find, but just for now, this is an overview of the OBS Assist demo software that I've sent out. Now the software, once you open it up, it may ask you to enable macros. That's because a lot of the real work is done in macros. So obviously if you don't enable those, the functionality won't exist for much of what this software does. So you can do that. Then you'll notice that we have three different tabs at the bottom. These are the only tabs that you will need to do most things with this software. Now, first of all, we've got the schedule data tab. Now this is where you would record a typical week, assuming you have a timetable that repeats each week. A typical week with your different time slots for your lessons. So here you can see the different centers. Now this one's got two centers in the demo, but obviously you can have one or even more centers depending on your operational needs. You can choose then the day, the different time slots, the different levels. Now obviously here we're only offering in the demo pre-int, int and upper int, but obviously you can offer any of the levels you want. Now in a later tutorial I'll talk a little bit more about how to edit this to set it up for your own center, but it should be relatively self-explanatory, where you just choose drop down menus for the various different elements. Now once you've set that up and you've defined all your teachers for your weekly schedule, then you'd move into the all levels tab. Now here what you do is you can define a start date and an end date, and then there are these three buttons and some more options here. I'll talk a little bit more about those different options as we go through them one by one. So first of all, we define a time frame. So by double clicking on the date here, it pops up a date picker. This is just to make life a little bit easier, particularly with regards to formats and so on. So we can choose a date. So imagine we want to do May 2015, so we'll do the entire month. So we'll start on the 1st and we'll end on the 31st. Okay, so then you'll see that these dates now reflect those changes we've made. The next thing you do once you set your start and end date is you would click for lesson dates and times. The system will think a little while. The amount of thinking time it needs will depend on your system. It also asks us if there are any public holidays. So let's say yes. Let's say the 5th of May is a public holiday. So we type in the date of the holiday, bearing in mind what's up, signified up here for the holiday date. This will be different for different systems, but what's reflected here is the way that you enter the date here. Okay, so in this case we've got month 1st, day 2nd, followed by the year. So we click OK. It asks us if we want to enter another public holiday. We're going to say for the sake no. Now you'll see that just clicking on any other square, you'll see that all of a sudden we now have all of the month's lessons nicely and automatically laid out across the different centers, different dates, different times. You'll notice that on the 5th, which in this case is a Tuesday, the 5th of May, there are no classes scheduled because we identified that as a public holiday. Now at this stage you can obviously go through and check if, for example, you know that there's a particular day where one teacher is being covered by another teacher. You can make a change there. There are various other things you could change. I'll talk in more detail about that in a later tutorial. Once you're happy with this schedule, you would then press for lesson IDs. Now you'll notice here we have two columns, one that is perhaps more familiar, which is the lesson name, and one that is signified as pathway. Now in this software, in the demo at least, I've separated all of the lessons into 4 groups, 4 pathways. We've got non-workplace, workplace, writing, or grammar that you can choose from. Now the system automatically assigns these, and it does this based on certain settings that I'll show you how to change in another tutorial, and it's based on a number of different factors, but obviously we have these different groups here. Again, another tutorial will talk in more detail about how we can do that, but it is possible to change, for example, which types of pathways occur within each of these groups. So if you wanted to have an intensive course that was only grammar lessons, for example, or only writing lessons, it would be quite easy to weave that into your timetable. Now if, for example, there was a lesson that you wanted to change, it is also possible to go in and choose a different lesson. In this case, I'm going to leave this as it is, because what I want to demonstrate is that once you've pressed this button, the system also remembers the last lesson that was timetabled, so that the next time you go in and get the next timetable, it actually remembers the previous point it was at, so it doesn't just repeat itself each time you do it. So to demonstrate this, I'm going to actually press this again. So if you notice, the first lesson here is non-workplace comparing situations. If I press this again, it will again begin to think, and you'll notice that now all of these lessons are in fact different lessons. Okay, that's because it's remembered the point it was at, and it's continued running through those cycles or sequences. So this is quite an important feature, but it also means that you don't want to keep pressing this too frequently for each of your timetable uploads. Anyway, once you've got your timetable, the next thing to do is to export it to a CSV so you can upload it. So here we have a drop down menu for the term, so if we call this May. Now as you know, on the OBS you can only upload one center at a time, so we have to define which center we want for that particular CSV. Once we've done that, you click on the button and it will extract all of the lessons for that particular center, and this file will then appear in the same folder where you have the OBS Assist software, and you'll see it's gives you the center name, the month, and also the year, so you know which file you can then upload this file to the OBS. So in this case we've got 2 different centers. You could of course just have one, or as I said, even more. And again you press the CSV, again it will extract, and there you have your 2 files ready to be uploaded into the OBS. Now the demo software, the demo version, is fully operational, so it does everything, so you can play with it, have a look at the other demos if you want. You can in fact also then use that as the basis to set it up for your own center and then use that software. It's absolutely fine. If there are any questions or any feedback you have about it, please let me know. Otherwise, hopefully it will save you some time. If not, hopefully you get some pleasure out of playing with it. Thanks.